debate these items, nor will the commission make decisions on items presented during this time. Members of the public will be limited to 3 minutes for their comments. You ready?
Sure. Yes.
I was going to let him go because he started.
Point of personal privilege.
Eric, you can be next.
Secretly knew I was just trying to get an extra 10 seconds. No. All right. So, as I said, thank you guys for doing this. This is my first meeting here. So I'm painfully aware that you guys don't get paid a lot to do the work that you're doing. My head hurts from all the information that you guys spewed, but I just wanted to talk a little bit on the topic of the new city manager. So I'll start over. Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Charlie Hershey. I live in Lawrence, Kansas, 66046. My family has lived here and operated a small business on Massachusetts Street in some form or another nearly my entire life. I continue to maintain those buildings while simultaneously maintaining my own and working full-time as a firefighter and paramedic. It is not difficult to see how difficult things are for any individual to live the same quality of lives that many others did years ago. My mother, Peggy Kritos, and stepfather, George Kritos, moved to Lawrence with literally nothing, no family, no safety net. They opened the Mad Greek on Massachusetts Street, and for 30 years they fed this town. I had the privilege of running it for 10 years before I went to the fire service. If Lawrence did not like what my mother served, she didn't get a severance check, she didn't get a non-disparagement clause, she got an empty dining room, and she'd start over again the next morning. And the same goes for 99% of any person coming or already living in Lawrence. And that's the Lawrence that I grew up in. That's the standard that the people in this room used to be held to. So I wanted to ask why we're about to hand the keys to our city to someone that is not prepared to live to that standard. 3 of the now 4, but formerly 5 finalists for city managers have collected severance from a prior city manager job, per my understanding, and I'm happy to be corrected, and I hope to be corrected. But of those 5 candidates, one resigned from Odessa, Texas after 5 months and walked away with $93,000 in a separation agreement that barred him from suing, disparaging, or sharing any confidential information. Another left Ashland, Oregon under a public meeting agenda titled Termination of Employment. His contract entitled him to 12 months of severance he was paid for. Another was ousted from Galveston on a 4-3 city council vote, and he walked away with $136,000. And another publicly stated that he was responsible for the purchase and moving into of a building that was $20 million in Dallas, where he moved 70 employees in December 2023 and was later evacuated after ignoring 36 fire code violations. Another faced a 2023 NAACP no confidence campaign in his current city of Cleveland. He dismissed it publicly by saying change.org petitions can be signed multiple times by the same person. I just ask that you guys consider these things. Thanks.
Thank you. Eric, go ahead. You're next.
Yeah, Eric Hyde, 66046. My brain's fried too. I had a lot of great things to say, but let's just start with, I care a lot about this town. Sorry, my hat's on. See this? From ashes to immortality. Through hardships to the stars. I inverted them because I care about unity. All right, I'm just calm down now. I also have tattoos on my chest. You want to see them? Like he's showing them? Love, freedom, knowledge. You can't see because I got hair. All right. Because I don't like that LFK thing. I think it's stupid. All right. So, first of all, I just want to say I'm really glad Brandon's right there. It's a dream come true for me to see him right there in that desk, because I went to school with Brandon, and he's a really good bass player. He's better than me. Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, I wanted to tell you a story about how one day, it was probably in 2000, it was before when you guys took away public comment, or whoever did that. I was at a coffee shop. I ran into a lady. She was all big-eyed, all crazy big-eyed. And I said, oh, hey, sorry for whatever I said sorry for. And I said, you know what? I didn't say it like that. I said, oh, it's all theater. All of it's theater. Well, of course it's theater, because there's good actors and there's bad actors. So that's really all I wanted to say. And you know who that lady was? That lady was Courtney Shipley. And she was a really big cheater on the yard sign violations. I'm really glad I reported that to everybody here, because she's not sitting up there right now. Sorry, I would like to tone down my comment, my tone of voice. If I were a commissioner or a mayor, I would not allow all of these city staff people to run their mouths as long as they do. I wouldn't even let other commissioners do it as long as they do. It's a shame to watch, and it's a shame to hear it all. Brandon did a great job, though, tonight. I want to point that out. He kept his comments short and to the point. That's why I like Brandon, because he's respectful. Probably more respectful than me. Well, actually, not probably. He is more respectful than me. I'm still learning how to be respectful. I had to take my medication, my propranolol, twice tonight, because you guys really irritate me. Not you, but just the stuff going on. I'm done. I'm sorry I raised my voice. Just please be better and quit wasting people's time. Be more efficient. Thank you.
Any other public comment in the room?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Jane Eldridge, and I just want to thank you all for your time that you've spent thinking about me and your consideration. And I am very delighted that I'm going to be able to continue to serve on the Planning Commission. So thank you all.
Thank you. Any other public comment in the room? Good.
Good evening. I'm Jane Cotita, 66049, and a 25-year resident. I last spoke during public comment on May 5th, so I look a little familiar. That meeting included a great deal of public comment. When my turn came around 10:30, I set aside my prepared remarks and thanked Parks and Rec for their response to the April 28th storm cleanup. A first responder walked out with me afterwards and said their crews depend on Parks and Rec employees, often responding in the middle of the night to reopen critical road access, and I wanted to share that with you. Last night, more storms moved through Lawrence. Parks and Rec crews were called out and have been working tirelessly to clear tree damage and prepare parks for Memorial Day weekend and the families who use them, including mine. They deserve recognition for that work. What I especially wanted to come back and address tonight is the ongoing homeless camp cleanup work by Parks and Rec, happening in our parks and trails every week. These employees were hired to mow parks, maintain trees and landscaping, support horticulture, and help Lawrence maintain its tree city status. What I doubt many expected was to repeatedly clean up camps containing rotten food, human waste, drug syringes, and used condoms. I walk these trails regularly and have seen the conditions firsthand. I have also had encounters with individuals living in the camps. The Parks and Rec crews continue showing up professionally and respectfully to do very difficult work over and over again in the same locations. I would encourage at least one city council member to accompany these crews during a cleanup. See firsthand what they deal with day after day, the health concerns, the conditions, the odor, the vermin, and the impact on our public spaces that we all use. These employees are doing essential work for the community, and I believe they deserve both recognition and support. I believe these remarks are important, and I plan to email them to each of you tomorrow. Too often, the steady stream of criticism overshadows the positive work being done every day in the city by Parks and Rec. I want each of you to be aware of this work and these employees and what they are doing in the conditions that they face. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm here to talk about AI data centers again because I only had 3 minutes and I had so much to say. But first, I wanted to clarify we didn't take any direction for staff to look into any sort of moratorium or any sort of text amendment, correct? We were still wrapping up the conversation, or was there direction
Technically, you're
to
not
staff?
supposed to talk about something we've already talked about.
Okay. Well, can I clarify that question? Was there
gave
direction to staff? I might have been
We
talking.
gave direction to staff to bring us back something.
Okay, cool. Then I will shift instead because I have infinite things to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about. Let's go ahead. Actually, you know what? I want to talk about the Haskell wetlands and everything that's associated with it. So I just want to give a big shout out to the Haskell greenhouse. I don't know how many commissioners have been out to the Haskell wetlands, but they have transformed dramatically in the past 2 to 3 years since my friend Courtney King has become the manager of the Haskell greenhouse. And it is absolutely shocking to see how much a landscape can transform from love and attention and due diligence towards stewarding it. And I think it is just so fantastic. I understand that the boardwalk has a lot of accessibility issues, and I do understand that they have a grant from the Heritage Conservation Council, I believe, to try to implement a boardwalk on the Haskell side of the Haskell Baker wetlands. But I would encourage everybody to go out, at least walk up to the boardwalk and look at the woodlands, because before it used to be a blanket wall of bush honeysuckle. You couldn't see in. It was literally a green hedge wall. And now you can look in and you can see all the native species that are in there. You can see the students doing research plots. You can look to see different students doing, like one of my friends, Pequot, she's doing a study to see how pawpaws do in different aspects, to see what communities and what plants, what animals, how the interactions work. And it's just great to see that we have people who are so loving to the land to be able to use it in all of its application, to give it appreciation, to give it love back, to be able to use the land in the ways that it's always been traditionally used for science, for research, for education, for connection, for spirituality. I have concerns that what's going on with the new Boston Crossing, I know it's not directly adjacent to the Haskell wetlands, but these were traditionally a huge complex. The Wakarusa wetlands was massive, and I understand, the Army Corps damned Clinton, or the Wakarusa, and created Clinton. That caused a lot of downstream effects. But I have just massive concerns because there's such great revitalization. I know Baker is also doing a bunch of stewardship on their aspect, on their portion of the lands too. And so we have this massive resurgence of stewardship. But then at the same time, what's going to happen is we're going to have a very large commercial development go onto these areas that have finally been begging for stewardship and are receiving the stewardship that they deserve. And in fact, they deserve more stewardship. But it's like every time we seem to go forward with environmental concerns, it feels like we go backwards too as well. Thank you.
Hello, Debbie Fillikins, 66049. I am here really concerning one word, the word proposed, and how it applies to fire station number 6. Back in December, proposed fire station, we were told, meant that it was not set in stone. There were still issues that were needing to be resolved. 3 of you have come out, listened to us, seen our pictures, truly cared, we thought. Until a month ago, we found out from talking to Stephen Hallstrom, the word proposed is not what we took it to mean. Proposed in his book is the phase before construction begins. Called a month ago trying to get the soil sample, which he said wasn't ready. Now in talking, I did get Melinda tonight. She is supposed to get it sent to us. But his take is no, proposed does not mean what you all led us to believe in December. He said proposed is how the city classifies that phase of the project before construction starts. So I guess we're just very disappointed that the city does not have the same meaning of terms when they're talking to people. Because we've had our hopes up all along. We've been trying. You guys came out and listened to us, and I guess it's been to no avail because this fire station is going in no matter what we've tried. And we're just very disappointed on that. So that's about all I've got to say.
Any other comments in the room? How about online?
Yes.
Chris Flowers.
Hi, this is Chris Flowers, and I wanted to comment on the city manager candidates. Basically, I'm very disappointed with the group we got. There is not much diversity on that list. I was frankly flabbergasted. There wasn't one female out of 5 candidates. Like just one candidate would have been 20% of the field, but you couldn't even find one female candidate. But I looked online and I saw somewhere like female city managers it's like 25%. So like 25% of city managers are female. I don't know if that's true. It's just something I've read, but it just seems to me if you can get 25% for female city managers, why couldn't you get 20% female candidates, And it's very disappointing because a few years ago when you were all this was back when Ananda was still on the board, but it was more, you all seem to be more intentional to have diversity when you were at least doing advisory boards and stuff like that, making sure it wasn't just all a bunch of white guys. But I don't know, this doesn't seem. And the other problem I had is just looking at, I've read about some of the backgrounds, and some of these people were getting fired or getting paid to leave. So it's not like these are great candidates. And they're from Texas. Like, I think you all just need to do a redo. Is there any way you can put together a group of citizens to find like candidates for you all to choose from, or can you have city staff do a new search? It's actually paid this money, but this is not good. I think we need new candidates because there's not one female. Or if there was like 2 people of color, if they were both guys, I'd be okay with that too. Or a transgendered person. It's just you have 5 voices that I don't know how different they're gonna be. And also, here's the other thing: why didn't the Texas people? Did they not think this would offend people to not have diversity in this candidates? This is Lawrence, Kansas, and if they didn't think that would be a problem, that means I don't think they really know what the city of Lawrence, what the residents want. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'd put together a new group to find new candidates. So thank you.
Samuel Carter.
Good evening, Commissioners. Samuel Carter, 66046, and thank you for your time. I just want to let you know there was an issue with the public participation guidelines that were released for this week's agenda, at least. It directed folks to send written testimony to ccAgendas@lawrenceks.org. And apparently I was told that, so that email just has been retired. It didn't send a bounce back message though. And so I sent comments to there that didn't get on agenda because of the, in some respects my bad, but also incidentally, I told a lot of people that this was the email address that they could send to submit written testimony, because that's what the public participation guidelines said. So we don't really know, I know I can talk with those people, but we don't really know how many people followed the public participation guidelines and emailed ccagendas@lawrencechaos.org as opposed to what I think it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be .gov. So I wanted to ask if one of you could, I guess, reach out to the city clerk's office, find out what was sent, publish what was sent, because I think the intention was there to publish it, and then let the people who sent those, let them know that, that it's been published as they intended. It could be, I don't know, a supplemental public comment or something. I don't really know how you untangle that exactly, but I think that would be fair and transparent to the people who did. And again, I don't really know how many people submitted public comment. Maybe it was just me. I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows. But it's something that, like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's a good, easy, public service thing for one of y'all to do. So just making that request. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Stephen Watts.
Sorry for the delay. It's happened more than 3 times now. I thought the first time was a mistake. The other 2 times, no. So now we have 2 city clerks. I thought we only had 1 city clerk, but now we have 2 city clerks. This Deb Penna, she sends out her communications as the city clerk. Okay, how are we paying for that? Or should you really put what your title is, since we're so title conscious in Lawrence, Kansas? I appreciated what that firefighter was talking about. I ate at the Mad Greek when it first opened, and hopefully he's getting an eye-opening experience, the money to pay themselves first. And that's who typically makes their way into these positions. I got to agree with Chris Flowers that it's been a good giggle. All these guys from Texas running away from whatever they are. Maybe it's good they're leaving Texas to come here, but there's no reason, like he suggested, that you can't do a do-over. I don't know what the big hurry is. Maybe there was a dearth of people applying. I don't know. It's just something to talk about. The Oread Residents Association, it doesn't exist. A guy may say he's part of it, but they don't have meetings and there's no way to join it. So I don't see how they get credibility. If I form the Upper Edge Hill Road behind the Chancellor Residence Neighborhood Association and don't tell you how many people are in it, is that gonna get you more moxie inside the system? Professional development inside our town. I support professional development like the nth degree. However, I think professional development is the responsibility of the professional themselves, using their money and their time. Our town pays for people to go to college, not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry. I mean, only the high echelon mucky mucks. Right. The $250,000 people and their minions who are only making $180,000 a year. No. We can't do that. How much company time is spent going to professional development, quote, representing the city? We don't have the time to do that anymore until we get out of this financial exigency and we can walk around like we're Johnson County, which we are not. And not just anywhere in Johnson County, Leawood or Olathe. And we give away too much money to people who already have plenty of money. You just keep looking at this stuff going, I appreciate what you guys do. I seriously do. It may not seem like it some of the time, but I know it isn't easy. However, quit pandering to the Chamber of Con Men. And let's go into that for a second. I finally figured out all of that money that we give to the Chamber of Commerce, we are essentially paying the salary of the executive director. Bye.
That's all the comment, Mayor.
Okay. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Pullen, second by Vice Mayor Courtney. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Have a good night, everybody.
Can't wait to hang out all week.
What?
I can't wait to hang out all week.
Yeah.
But we'll be in
I guess,
separate
yeah, we'll
rooms.
see you
We'll be in
tomorrow.
separate rooms, so we can.
Yeah.